the replay. We are recording perfect. For some reason, I don't know what happened. It just did not convert over. It was just like an audio. It was very weird. I've never had that happen. So hopefully this week it doesn't do the same. So if you guys are new to this planning Zoom, I'm Christina Tammy, and I'm super excited to plan with you. So if you don't have your planner, you can do a piece of paper, a notebook. It does not matter, you guys, whatever you have in front of you, you can use. So you don't need some fancy planner or anything like that. But if you're someone like me who loves planners, get yourself a planner. The more excited you are about what you're writing in and what you're doing, the more you're going to want to like pick it up and look at it. Let's just be real. That's how I work. If you're not like that and can run around with a piece of paper, that's awesome. But find your style and run with what works for you and what helps you reach your goals, right? So first and foremost, you guys know we start with planning our goals for the week. So how many customers would we like to get this week? How many promoters would we like to have join us in the business? If we want to sell trial packs, how many trial packs do we want to do? How many reels and how many lives we want to do, you guys? If you are not doing reels and lives, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. But I really want you to set a goal of just doing one live this week and one reel. Step out of your comfort zone. If you are not going face-to-face live in your stories, I want you to make that your goal this week to start going live face-to-face in your stories. So I'm going to write down my goals. You guys know I planned with you. So as you're doing it, I'm doing it. And yes, if you want to, I love that, Mallory. Shout out your goals in the chat. I love it. Let's do that. Shout out your goals. Since my voice is here, I'll let you guys know my goals this week, but let me write them down first. So let's say that maybe you're newer, you're just joining. We have a few new faces that I haven't seen before. So maybe you are just starting your business or just starting to plan. You might be in your VIP period. So if you are in your first 14 days this week, your goal should be to get 2 customers and get 2 promoters and try to get to that VIP 800, right? So if you are in your first 14 days, break it up. Your first week, try to get 2 and 2 and 800. And your second week, try to get that another 2 and 2 and that, and hit that 1600 for your VIP. If your goal is to hit 4K by the end of this month to get that $4,000 bonus, $12,000 bonus, 40,000, 80 or 200K bonus, I hope I remembered them all. Figure out what your goal needs to be for that, right? And make that your goals for the week. How are you going to get there? We have 1 week left, you guys. We have until Friday. All right. So I'm going to write down my goals. And don't be like, if you see people shouting out goals and you're like, oh my gosh, like maybe my goals look a lot bigger than theirs, or my goals look a lot smaller than yours or theirs. Stay in your lane. Okay. Stay in your own lane. That is something I said to Lindsay. I'm like, she always used to say, I created my own lane and I just stayed in it. And I said to her this past week, I said, I really now understand what you mean when you said I created my own lane and I stayed in it. Do not compare yourself to anybody. Do not compare yourself to anybody, your goals, your vision, your dreams, anything like that. Create your lane and go. Be inspired by others. If your goals are maybe a little less than somebody else's goals, be inspired, because guess what? They probably started where your goals were at too at some point, right? You have to go through that kind of stuff. So don't ever compare yourself to somebody else, whether it's them rank advancing, whether it's, their promotions, their enrollments, whatever the case may be. Never compare yourself. All right. Okay. I see the chat blowing up. I love it. I love it. All the goals. I love it. Yes. Yes. The reason why we start with goals first, you guys, is because your week now gets planned around that. Your week will now get planned around whatever you just wrote down. If it's to hit your VIPs, if it's to go live, if it's to sell minis, whatever it is, you will now plan your week around your goals, right? So that is why we always start with that first. And now we are going to do our social media audits. If you are new to this, what do I mean? I mean, pick up your phone, or if you're on your phone doing this Zoom, you can just kind of like throw me to the side kind of thing. You'll still be able to hear me. And you are going to go and look at your social media, and I want you to audit yourself. And when I say audit yourself, I mean look at your grid. So like what I like to do is I like to pull up like my last 9 grid. So like what somebody will see when they first come to my page, right? So if I'm following new people, I'm doing my IPAs, all that kind of stuff, what are they going to see when they first come to my page? And I want to make sure my personality is speaking through on my photos. I want to make sure that somewhere in here I'm showing like who I am, right? Maybe it's home decor. I'm very big about my home decor. I love my home decor, fashion, who I am and what my brand is. If you're a mom and part of your brand is your being a mom, make sure that you have your kids in your photos, that it's not just you in selfies. My dog is always in a lot of my photos. I always have mugs in my photos because I absolutely love my mugs, and I do Christmas in Christina's Cup. I'm known for that now. I literally branded myself as Christmas in Christina's Cup. I'm pretty sure if I ever switch my flavor, I may lose some followers because I'm a candy cane person and I'm always Christmas in Christina's Cup, where I have people messaging me and saying, okay, I want Christmas in Christina's Cup, but can I change the flavor? Like it's like a known thing now. And I branded myself because I literally just say it all the time when I go live. So I always have a mug. And I try to show that in my pictures. So I like to look at my grid. I like to see, like, does everything look clean? That sort of thing. You guys, pictures don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be dressed up, dialed up, makeup on, all that kind of stuff. No, be who you are, right? Be who you are. A preset is huge because that's just going to give an aesthetically pleasing look to it across the board. And y'all, this is just, I'm just going to say it because I want it, because you got to say it. A preset is huge. Okay. A preset is huge. It is like one of those things where it will just make everything look very cohesive, and it'll make everything look clean. And it just is a little bit more appealing to the eye. That's all. But it doesn't mean that you have to be some type of preset yourself, like always dialed up, makeup on, hair done, like all that kind of stuff. No, be exactly who you are, and own that. So I like to look at my pictures. I'm like, okay, cool. And then what I do is I hit my first photo and I start to read through my post. I kind of just start to like go through my post and see, okay, what did I post about this week? Like I talked about our community. I talked about weight loss. I showed like instead of a before and after, I showed how big my pants were. So if you're somebody that's lost a lot of weight and you're like, okay, I keep showing before and afters, put on a pair of pants that used to be too big for you and show a picture of you being like, these bad boys are too big on me now, right? So you're going to bring a different aspect of it. Maybe weight loss isn't what you're here for. Maybe you haven't lost any weight, or you didn't join for that because you don't need to lose any weight. Show whatever it is that you need to show. You could literally show a before and after of you laying in bed and you like up and doing a workout and say like, that girl on the side, that's what I used to be. I always wanted to nap. Thanks to these products, this is my new lifestyle. Whatever. I don't know. I just grabbed something out of thin air. So whatever it is, you guys, you can show before and afters in so many different ways. They don't have to just be weight loss. So, and then I talked about our $800 bonus, our first 14 days. I talk about our car bonus. I talk about debt. I'm really big about paying off all of our credit card debt and going debt freedom. So that is really, really big for me. And that is part of my branding that I'm going for. So I talk about that and I get vulnerable. So I'm looking through my stuff and seeing, did I talk about the promoter side? Did I talk about the products? Attraction marketing is huge, you guys. Yes, attraction marketing is what we know and it is huge. But don't forget to tell them what you are trying to attract them to, right? Don't just be up there throwing up just inspirational posts, but not telling them that there's an $800 cash bonus that they can earn in the first 14 days. Don't forget to tell them that they can run a business completely for free around here with no fees, no mandatory auto ships, no cold messaging, all that kind of stuff. I think sometimes we those posts tend to maybe get a little less likes. So you don't want to post them. Stop looking at your likes because people are watching. Okay? People are watching. All my a majority of my promoters and a majority of my customers that I ever have that like join me, ask about the products or anything are people that don't ever comment on my stuff. So people are always watching. Do not look at the likes. I don't look at my likes. I don't look at my views as anything negative because I know I was a silent stalker. I wasn't liking any of Lindsay's stuff, but I was constantly going to her page to find out what she was talking about. I was constantly seeing what she was doing in her business, but I wasn't liking, I wasn't commenting. So you guys don't look at that kind of stuff, okay? Yes, Mallory watched for 3 years. 3 years and never liked a thing, and she's literally going 80K. Right? So you guys, you never know who's on the other screen stalking you. That is like when I post, I'm like, this one's for my stalkers. Where you at? Right? Because they're not going to like and they're not going to comment. So do not look at that. Okay. Got off on my tangent here. Where am I at? So make sure you are auditing yourself to talk about the things that you need to talk about. You need to bring people along for the journey. Yes, your next rock star could be a silent stalker. I want y'all, that is our new thing, okay? The silent stalker is our next rock star. So don't look at that kind of stuff and think that you have to have the likes and the comments all of the time, okay? I just wanted to put that out there. So I normally post very similar. What's on my Facebook goes on, or what's on my Instagram goes on to my Facebook. So if I audit one area, I'm pretty much auditing both. I do tend to go a little bit more live on Facebook, and then I try to bring them over into IGTV, but it just depends. But I know if I audit one, and that's what we're going to do today, we're just going to kind of audit through one. I'm pretty much auditing my other one as well. Okay, so now that we kind of audited, we looked at it, what were the first things that popped into your head? I want you to write them down. If you looked at your photos and you're like, okay, I need to get some new photos with my kids. I want to do some new photos with this. Write it down. Sorry. I got a lot to say today. I cannot have a dry throat over here. We got a lot to plan for this week. If you looked through and you were scrolling through and you thought, wow, I didn't really talk about the products, or wow, I didn't really talk about the community, write that down. If you're newer and you're in your first 14 days, or you're newer and you're kind of just adjusting, this is where your fives is going to come in. And why did you join this company? Why do you love these products? If you're already on the products, if you're not, what made you want to start these products? Start talking about it. You do not have to talk in present tense. If you join these products because you wanted a natural, healthy way to lose weight, but you haven't lost a pound, talk about it. If you join these products because you loved that they were non-GMO, no fillers, you felt them day one and you could offer them to anybody and everybody, and you're so excited for the mood support and mental clarity that they offer, but you just started, talk about it. If you join this business because you're so excited for the weekly pay that's going to help pay groceries, but you haven't paid groceries yet with your weekly pay, talk about it. If you join because you want that luxury auto bonus and you want to be able to walk onto a Mercedes lot and pick out that dream car that you have and know that the company is going to pick up your tab, but you haven't even hit 4K yet, I don't care. Talk about it. I think you guys get the point. Talk about the things that you want. I started talking about debt freedom now, like it is a non-negotiable. At the end of 2021, this business is making me debt free. And I got a lot of thousands in debt. A lot of thousands. But I don't care. I'm talking about it like it's happening. Why? Because not only is someone on the other side who's also in my shoes wanting to pay off debt, but I'm also telling the universe, or God, for me it's God, but I'm also telling the universe, whatever you want to say, right? Where I'm going. I'm also envisioning it, right? They say your thoughts create your future. What are your thoughts? Because my thoughts are I'm debt free by the end of 2021. My thoughts say that I am a 2-time auto bonus earner by June, right? If it doesn't happen, I'm not going to sit here and go cry in a corner, but I'm putting it out there. And when you put it out there, when you start speaking on it, it lights your fire even more. So if you are somebody that's like, I don't know what to post, I just feel like, we're going to say the word stuck. You guys know Linz doesn't like that word, but if you're going to say the word stuck, start living in the vision that you're creating and posting about it. And let me tell you, that'll light a fire under your butt, right? Like I'm going to use Mallory, for example. Sorry, Mallory, but I'm going to use you. I love that Mallory talks in the future on her post, telling people where she's going and all that it entails, especially with these bonuses, what it is going to do for her family. She's telling it and taking, and guess what? That inspires me because I'm like, ooh, yeah, that's going on my vision board too. I like that, right? I put on my vision board last year, I put on my vision board last year, live every day like it's a Saturday. It's a lifestyle. Okay. I put that on there like September of last year. And at that point, I didn't know like if this was going to be my full-time gig. I was living like a Saturday because my job, I had been laid off, that sort of thing. So I was doing it, but I didn't know what was coming. Right. But I put it out there. I haven't taken that off yet, even though this has now been my full-time gig. I have not taken that off yet because my husband is going to live that with me too. That is my new goal, to live every day like it's a Saturday. So I'm going to talk about that. I talked about that and how I'm going to bring him home from his job. I don't know when, but I know I'm going to do it because that's what he wants. Find your goals, find your vision, start talking about it, right? I can't wait for, you can use inspo with the business together to not be 100% just business, right? So it can be like, I can't wait to take my babies to Disney and I get to do it all while running a free business every single month, right? You just group together your vision, inspiration, because somebody else wants to take their babies there too. And you're telling them, I'm doing it for free every month without saying, this is my business. I run a free business every single month, blah, blah, blah. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, the bullet point and bold posts are needed and necessary, but you can also be inspirational, tell people where you're going, and also throw in what the business is doing all in one. That's what I mean when I say, what are you going to talk about? Promoter, customer, right? When we talk about doing a promoter post, customer post, and kind of switching it up every single day, that's what I'm always talking about. It doesn't have to always be like 100% these products or this business. You can kind of twist everything in together. I hope that makes sense. So we're planning for a week, right? We got our post out. We know what we want to talk about. If you don't, that's okay. You can come back to this. This way I don't take too much of your time, but I wanted to talk about those things because I realized I stopped living in my future. I stopped sharing my visions. I stopped being 100% authentic to me and where I was going. I stopped peeling back the layers. And when I started peeling back the layers and taking my timeline with me, is when I got even more excited and inspired to go live, to do reels, to do things. And I know it's scary putting your goals out there in your vision, because what if it doesn't happen? Who cares? Who cares? The fact I would rather sit at a table with dreamers that maybe it doesn't come true right now than sit at a place where no one has a dang dream or a vision. I don't know about you, but I'd rather sit where people are like, this is what I want for my family. This is what I'm going for. I'm going to work for this. And maybe it doesn't happen in 3 months, 6 months, whatever. I'd rather sit at that table with those people than someone that's like, well, I mean, why dream? It probably won't happen. No. Okay. So now we kind of know what we want to talk about, because we have our goals, right? We know how many promoters we want, customers, trial packs, reels, and lives. If you want to sell trial packs, you got to make sure you're talking about trial packs, right? If you want to get promoters, you got to make sure you're sharing what the business can do for them. And if you want to get customers, you have to share what these products can do. So you see why when we put our goals out there and we look at those, then we can kind of tailor our post to that. Same with your stories. Y'all, get in your stories. I was listening to a podcast, Jessie Lee. I went back to listening to Jessie Lee. She hypes me up. So I went back to listening to her, and she said, you have different style of people. You have people that come on social media that just look at stories. You have people that come on social media that just listen to lives or do reels. You have people that come onto social media and they just read posts. And then you have people that do all of it, right? But you have different style of people. So you need to make sure you're hitting all those people. Reels, lives, stories, posts, right? That's why it's so important, you guys. Some people truly just get on social media to listen to reels and stories. My best friend is one of them. She don't read my posts. She's only in stories, or she's on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but she is like, that's her jam. She even says, I barely read posts. I'm always in people's stories. Right? So keep that in mind when you're working your business, and you may think like, oh my gosh, like I got to be in all the places, but you're hitting all of the areas. You're working for all of the things, right? Another thing that Jessie Lee said that I absolutely loved, this was like loved it. She said when she first started doing lives, she had maybe 50 people views, right? At the end of it. She goes, you know what I thought to myself? That's 50 people. She used to do in-home parties. I don't know about y'all, but I used to do in-home parties where 1 to 2 people would show up. 50 views. Like she said, she'd have to go rent a room to have 50 people. So if you have 10 people viewing your views, 10 people viewing your stories, that's 10 people. Because I've been and did home parties where nobody showed up. So those little numbers or big numbers, little numbers, you got to start littler to get bigger, right? Think of it like that. And when she said that to me, I was like, dang. So even those posts that you're seeing that only get 4 likes, know behind it. We already know, remember the stalkers that are already liking it that we don't see. But think about that. Think about if you had to host an in-home party. Think of your reach you are getting now, you guys. So that was a real big like, whoa to me. If you have 100 views on a thing, you totally would have to rent a room to have 100 people come and sit and listen to you about your products, right? When you kind of flip that script, it's like you appreciate every single number, whether it's 5, 10, 100, 1,000 views, whatever it may be, right? All right, getting off that soapbox. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in all the work with me's and all of the Zooms. If you are not done planning your week, you guys, this is where the rest of the day comes in for you. I can't tell you what to talk about. That has to come from you. I can only show you, let's set up your goals every single day, peel back a layer and talk about things. I can help you and guide you, but I can't tell you what to post about. That is up to you. I can't tell you to show up. That is up to you. But trust me, when you start peeling back those layers, taking people for the journey with you and sharing to people why you're doing this and what you're working for, it will light a fire under you unlike anything I can ever explain. And that is when you create your own lane and you stay in it. Because my dreams are my own lane. Mallory's dreams are her own lane. Cassandra's dreams are her own lane, right? That is what it means to stay in your own lane. Okay. Zooms. So you guys know everything is Eastern Standard Time that I tell you. So if you are in a different time zone, please adjust. I do not know time zones. So I'm just going to tell you Eastern Standard Time, and then you can kind of make your adjustments where you need to. All right. All of our work with me's are going to be on M's Zoom ID, which is 666-188-9698. So that's 666-188-9698. If any other Zoom changes and has a different Zoom ID, I'll let you guys know. Okay. So on Monday, we have a 7:30 a.m. work with me. And then we have a 9 p.m. Zoom, and that's the Limitless Zoom. So that's with Lynn's, and that is going to be on this Zoom ID that you just joined on. Keep in mind, you guys, the Zooms and the work with me's that I'm giving you are the Hustling Tribe work with me's and Zooms. So, and a lot from Limitless as well, which is Lynn's downline. So if you have different work with me's, or you have maybe a different 200K that puts on their own work with me's or Zooms and all that, I won't know all of them. So implement those yourself. I'm just giving you from the hustling, and then what I have from Lynn's, which anybody is welcome to those as well, because I am on the Limitless Tribe. Okay. Well, you know what I mean. That's my enroller. Okay. So Tuesday, we have a 7:30 p.m. work with me. And then there is a 9 p.m. Zoom that Christina Brill puts on for her team that anybody is welcome to. And that's 576-789-8888. Wednesday is a 10 a.m. work with me. And then we have a 9 p.m. Zoom. And that is on still this ID. That's the Hustling Zoom. Thursday, we have a 9 a.m. work with me. And then we have a 9 p.m. opportunity event on Facebook. And that is where I always tell you guys to invite your potentials. Third-party validations are so huge, you guys. Utilize them, okay? And if you are newer and you are just learning to get your voice and you want a little bit more feedback or how to talk about things or anything like that, absolutely jump on those. You will hear other people's stories. You will be able to relate to your customers and potentials, right? So if you are someone, like we always say, you guys, we're in the business of storytelling. But when someone comes to you and maybe like for me, they're a teacher. I'm not a teacher, right? But I know somebody who's a teacher. I'm not a nurse, but I know somebody who's a nurse. You know what I'm saying? So getting to know people's stories and hearing them also allows you to talk more confidently with your potentials. and share that kind of stuff as well. So I love hearing other people's stories and sharing it. I talk about that stuff in my stories, you guys. Like when it's payday, I'll talk about my friend who's in college who doesn't have to work and can just focus on her studies because she has this business. I talk about my mom, one of my friends who's a mom who is on WIC and now doesn't have to worry about that. Both stories I can't relate to, but somebody in my audience might. So I share people's stories on Tuesdays. I love to go live and cry about other people winning. If you don't know that about me, like I try to not do it as much, like not as much, but I can literally bawl. So it's like, if I can't get my emotions in check, I'm not going live. But a lot of times I go in my stories and I talk about it. That's something I want to do more, is talk about it. Pancake freedom. Yep. Mallory, I shared your story. It was bawling every time. God, that one gets me every time. Pancake freedom gets me every time. Right? Listen to other people's stories and don't be afraid to talk about them. Okay. That was Thursday. Friday, we have a 10:30 a.m. work with me. And y'all, that is the last day of April. Can you believe it? April 30th. Woo! It's crazy. May 1st is 11 a.m. work with me. That's on Saturday. I'm pretty sure that Jordan will be doing Saturdays for a long time. So if that for some reason isn't happening because it's a new month, it'll be posted somewhere. Or if you try to get in on the work with me and nobody answers, then oops. But I'm assuming she's going to still do it because she has been this whole time. And then Sunday, May 2nd, as you guys know, Sundays here with me, 11:30 a.m. And that's on this Zoom ID that you guys jumped on.
Tina, can I share something that I did this week? I used to have all of my IPAs in my phone, and for me, it was just getting crazy going back and forth between my app my notes where I store all my IPAs, and then through Facebook and Instagram. So I took everything and I wrote it down on here. I have, let me see, general IPAs in round 1, and then I have my IPAs in round 2 and round 3. And I put it inside a sleeve that I can cross off. I keep it at my desk. And the only reason I do that is because I just had to do something that worked for me. Going back and forth between the apps just wasn't working for me. I wasn't getting it done, or I was just like shiny object syndrome and not focusing. So I just wanted to share that in case that worked with somebody else needed to do something like that. I just needed something that I could put a list and cross off and not have to worry about it.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Do you see what she said there though? She had to find what worked for her. So she tried different things and then she found what clicked, right? So that is the same thing, you guys. Find what works for you. I love that. Like I said, I'm a planner person. So if you told me to write this all down in a notebook, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I can't write everything. I can't write all my IPAs in my planner. So I just have IPAs. And then I know that what I have to do physically is on this list.
I love it.
That just works for me. I really wanted to do the app because, that's what Christina Brill showed and that's what worked for her, but it just wasn't working for me. So I had to just take the supermarket method and make it in a way that worked for the way my brain works.
I love that.
If you want the list, I'll put my email in the chat and I'm happy to send it.
Awesome. I love that. Thank you. Thank you. That is so awesome. Yes, you guys. So see how she just took it, twisted it, and made it for her own. Same thing with all of this, right? Everybody will give you nuggets, but make it your own and fit your style and your personality. So like, for example, I had a lot up in my brain. Okay. And this is like, maybe somebody else might need to hear this. I had a lot up here of things I needed to do, not just business. I'm talking personal. I'm talking bills that like I had to get paid that aren't on auto or whatever, you know, like the water bill that comes in all randomly. I have returns I need to do of stuff. Like I have business things that I needed to get done. And then I have my list of home stuff has taken the back seat. So I had a lot of things on the home list that needed to get done. So I wrote out this weekend, I wrote out everything I want to get done and I put little check mark boxes. And I already told myself, Christina, this is not going to get done tomorrow, but for the rest of the week, I want you to just like try to every day mark 1 or 2 things off of this list. This is like more personal stuff. I do have a couple business things, but more of it is personal stuff. And I said, then I can just mark it off. Something I heard this week too is if you want to build confidence, you have to make a goal and achieve it, right? So if you want to build the confidence of doing your IPAs, set your goal every day to do your IPAs and mark it off. You're going to build that confidence. If you want to build a confidence of going live and you set your goal to go live 1 time this week, go live. You're going to build that confidence, right? So, all right, let me just go recap. We have our goals. We did our social media audits to see maybe what we wanted to talk about, maybe where we fell short last week, what we loved about last week, what we'd like to maybe play on a little bit more, what we'd like to touch on, all that kind of stuff. Social media audits, you guys, are something you should be doing often, right? You should be doing them often. So we have that. Now we can plan our week. We have all of the work with me's, so you can hop on those. That's when you do your IPAs. Somebody will go through IPAs with you. Sometimes you guys, they will maybe just be coaching and more inspirational, but still hop on and do your IPAs while they're talking. That's the point. It's for you to come together. They're kind of going to give you some, nuggets and things like that while you're working and doing your work with me. So every style may be a little bit different. It just depends. So I like to throw that out there. But if you are someone that can't get on all of these work with me's, right? Like I can't always get on all the work with me's. My IPAs are non-negotiables for me. That's how I run my business. So for me, I have an IPA time and I do it every single day. So if you need to do your IPAs before you go to work, before the babies wake up, before the husband has whatever, spouse, whatever, I don't know what your life is. Set your IPA time and do it. If you end up getting on a work with me, that's just extra time towards your business for a focused round of IPAs. If you haven't done Lindsay's boot camp and you are out of like your first 14 days, because your first 14 days, there's so much that you are already working on and Zooms and trainings that you're already watching. But outside your first 14 days, that boot camp, y'all need to be on it. She's about to drop the second boot camp and the first boot camp ties in. So if you haven't done the first boot camp or and processed all the first boot camp, the second boot camp probably won't be as beneficial. Work through that first boot camp. It is literally, you guys, you are literally in her brain. In her brain. That's a top leader, one of the top enrollers, and a seven-figure earner between her and her husband's account. And she literally breaks down everything. And you get to spend 15 or less minutes in her brain every single day for 30 days of how she runs her business. I have never seen that anywhere else, y'all. You have a training page, the Hustling Tribe page, full of training beyond training from top leaders and everybody walking the same path as you. You have every little nugget that you need to be successful. You have to plug in. You have to go find what you need in that page. It is all there for you. There is fire being spit all the time in that page, you guys. Whether it's current, whether it's from the past, rewatch things. What do you need help on? If it's mindset, go search mindset in there. If it's samples, go search samples. If it's going live, they literally give you a list of things you could go live about for 30 days. Go search it. The first boot camp is, you can find it in, you could just search boot camp and hustling. Thank you, Jennifer or Jen. And then it'll pull up right there. If there's any other questions, you guys let me know. But if not, you have a good base to your week. This is month end, right? This is bonus ending season. But I don't want you to look at it as, well, like maybe you're far from a bonus right now. So you're looking at it like, well, I'm probably not going to earn that bonus. I don't care. Run. Because next week's paycheck is building the next week's paycheck and the next week's paycheck. So you don't need a bonus to create bomb residual income here. Every single week, y'all, you get to go and create a bonus business for yourself. So I don't care what your tracker says right now. I want you to run.
I have a quick question.
Oh, yep. I don't know who's talking. Sorry.
It's Cassandra. I have a quick question about what you're talking about. So I've been kind of running, but I've been running for 4K. And I'm, like you said, pretty darn far. I think my tracker says I'm at 35%. So, well, it's something though, right?
Absolutely.
So, and I'm kind of like, it just confirmed what I was thinking, because I'm like, I totally could still do it this week. And if I want to, would you say that I should be talking, like, I have only one promoter and I think you need 2 promoters for 4K.
Yep.
So should I like just talk about product all week, and then I could add my husband as a promoter if I had to at the end of the week?
No, I would talk about the promoter. I would talk about the promoter side. Absolutely. Yeah, I would talk about both. I would talk about
like business product.
Yeah, and some of the posts, I mean, push it together, product and business together.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely. I would definitely talk about, you guys think about it. You can enroll one person on a $400 pack. How many customers would that take you? Right? So talk about both of them. Go into it. Yeah, absolutely. Go into it confidently, talking about both of it. Yeah, you never know if a potential customer might flip into a promoter. Absolutely. So your customers that you have now may be watching, anybody, this goes for anybody. Your customers you have now may be watching and flip to a promoter. I got one of my babes on here right now who just was my customer and flipped to a promoter. Right? You never know, you guys. So yes, I want you to keep running. I don't care what your tracker says, because that is so true. They drop things all of the time, promos and multiple ways to earn, what is it? Double paycheck. I mean, they are constantly dropping stuff. But what I want you to also think about right now, they will bring back bonuses at some point in time. I don't know when. I don't know if we'll ever see a bonus plan structure the way they just dropped. I mean, that's insane. 3 different ways, whoo, crazy. But they will drop something. So you are building right now for that next something, whatever it may be. But even if it's not something, you are building that residual income. Y'all, residual income. I think it was Katie who was saying she had never earned any bonuses. And she makes multiple 6 figures, residual income. And income. You know what I'm saying? So keep running. Keep running. The way you end a month is the way you start a month. If you don't like what the last 3 weeks looked like, well, guess what, honey? Today is your day 1. Change it. Flip the script, right? Your numbers, your enrollments, they do not define your success. You define your success. For me, showing up every single day, doing my IPAs, bringing value, talking about these products, talking about this business, letting people know what I have my hands on, that is me being successful to myself. It's not a paycheck. It's not a rank, right? For me, that's what defines my success. is knowing that I showed up for me and I showed up for all the other people that may need this business or these products. Yes, as I mark things off my dream board, that makes me feel successful too, right? When I pay off a debt or when I do this or when I do that. But I don't get wrapped up in what my tracker says. I don't get wrapped up in if I don't hit these goals. I try to just remember I showed up. And if I didn't show up, that's when I beat myself up, right? Is if I didn't show up, I didn't do those IPAs, I didn't do the things I wanted to commit to. Yes, Holly. I just saw that.
Okay, real quick. So
Yeah.
something that I learned that, like, I have a baby, for instance, so I find it hard sometimes to find time when I'm trying to do like IPAs or posting on my story. One thing that I've learned by watching just YouTube videos of other people that kind of do the same thing as us is if you have a hard time like remembering to post on your story, go on your leaders' Instagrams and turn on their notifications and make sure your notifications are on so you know when they post on their story and that reminds you, oh, I need to post on my story because my leader just did.
Ooh.
So that's a good little tactic that I learned
Yes.
that will keep you going, and then you also can see what they're posting.
Yes.
Like a hint or something to help you.
That's awesome. That is a nugget right there, y'all. That is a nugget right there. You've heard it before too, right? Match the success of match their efforts. You're literally being reminded to match their efforts. I never thought to do that. That is good. That is good. I have a
One more
hand
time,
raised.
my kid was screaming. I want to hear what that was. I'm
Holly,
sorry. What is
here, one more time.
yeah.
Okay, so if you have like a hard time like reminding yourself to post on your story or post on Instagram, especially Instagram in general, go on your leaders' profiles in here. I'll show you real quick. So, for instance, okay, so like Rochelle, for instance, if you know Rochelle, if you go to their Instagram account, oh my gosh. The dream team. If you go to their Instagram account, it'll show you up here like a little bell looking thing. Click that, it'll turn their notifications on. So you can set it to like know when they post on Instagram or when they put something on their story. It'll pop up as a notification on your phone. You can match that, copy that, and like she was saying, you need to like focus on what they're doing too, and you can also get inspiration off of their posts.
I love that. I
Thank you.
freaking love that. That is so good. Lydia, I see your hand raised.
Hey, I just wanted to say something real quick. First of all, I freaking love that tip. That was I'm gonna use that.
Yes.
On the promoters and the customers. I never obsess over how many promoters I have or how many promoters I'm getting in, but because I truly believe I stand by your vibe attracts your tribe, and your people are going to come to you and they are going to feed off of your vibe and what you're showing, how you're showing up and how you're showing your face. But a little tip, I always check in with my customers, the people that I already know love the product, because I was that customer who said no a bunch of times until I was like, you know what, free products and a paycheck, no brainer. It's just a no brainer, period. Because yes, you can get your free products as a customer, but as a promoter, you also get a check. For me, I was sold and I have not looked back since. So I always check in on those that are coming back and those who are just loving the product. And I'm like, what are you waiting for? What's your fear? What's going on? Let's get you started, because it's a no brainer. That's all I wanted to say.
I love that. Yes, I love that. You guys work your strengths too, right? Like, I am more of a customer enroller than I am a promoter enroller. And, you know, Lindsay, for example, is very promoter enroller. So I would sometimes look and compare thinking that, oh my gosh, I need to be enrolling more promoters. And she was like, no, you need to keep working your strength and your customers will turn to promoters, right? Just like Lydia just said. She was that same way. And then they come in and it is just so different. So do not get wrapped up where you have to have a business that looks what way it needs to look. Your business is going to look your way and you are going to be able to work it the way that you need to work it. So I love that, Lydia. Thank you for sharing that that tip. Tracy, I'm dying at you in the comments. You
Real quick again.
Yes.
Don't forget Mother's Day is around the corner. So use that, especially I know there's guys in like the company and everything, but there are a lot of females in the company. So if you post anything, aim it towards Mother's Day.
I love it. Yes, because Mother's Day is when not next Sunday, the Sunday after, right? The 9th. Yes, the 9th. So true, you guys. So awesome. Does anybody have any other questions? I will look at the chat for for a couple more seconds. I will upload this to my YouTube channel, hopefully by in the next few hours. Sometimes it doesn't until the end of the night. I cross my fingers that this one goes through. But I want to thank you guys for joining me every Sunday or today or whatever it is. I appreciate you guys coming to plan with me and bringing your tips and tricks. I always want to hear them, you guys, because we all learn from one another. So if you don't feel comfortable unmuting yourself to drop, some nuggets that you have, always drop them in the chat, right? If you are struggling with something and maybe you need a little bit of help or work on, let me know. Drop it in the chat. And I think someone just unmute. Did someone unmute?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Hi. Okay. So 4K was 2 promoters, right?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was like a certain amount of promoter and then a customer or something like that.
Nope. You have to have at least 2 promoters and you have to have volume of 4,000 and you just can't have one of the legs, I think can't be over a certain amount. I'd have to look at the comp plan. I don't know it off the top of my head. Like you can't have like one promoter can't have like 3,000, you know what I'm saying? And 24. Thank you. I was looking at you because I was like, she probably knows. I was waiting for you. So 2,400, one leg can't have more than 2,400 to hold that 4,000. Does that make sense, you guys, for that 4K? Amanda, does that make sense?
But the leg can't have more than 2,400.
Right. So if you have 2 promoters under you, let's just pretend that you have no volume, right? You brought in no volume, so it makes this a little easier to understand. And one of your legs has 2,500 and the other leg has 1,400 and you hit 4K, you're technically red legged. That one leg can't have more than 2,400 to get to that 4,000. Now, if this leg has, 2,800 and this leg has 2,000, you hit it. Does that kind of make sense? It's just to hit that 4,000 in total.
Okay.
Yeah, Jen, if you want to unmute yourself, if you have a better way of explaining it, bring it on, girl.
Okay, sorry.
No, I love it.
Okay, so the easiest way to explain it, aside from needing obviously 4,000 overall in volume, if you're new, $1 equals 1 volume. Like it is just very basic when it comes to that. Aside of your 2 legs or your 2 promoters, a minimum has to be 2,400. If you go over that, it is okay, but it will red leg you to the point to where, say, one leg is 2,400 and the other is 2,500. So obviously it's 4,900. But the one leg that has more than the 2,400, that volume's not going to count for you. So some of you may have noticed, well, I have more than 4,000 in volume, but why is it only showing, say, 3,800 on your tracker? That's because one of your legs has more than enough volume than what it needs to be to equal it all out. Because you can't just have one leg that's just like massively growing and doing all these things when one over here is not doing the same, because you will not be paid the offset. And this goes for each of the rates. Like for 4,000 or for 4K, it has to be 2,400. For 12K, it's no more than 7,200 per leg. And I know it's confusing because when you add the 2 together, you're like, that doesn't even equal 12K, but that's just how it works. For 40K, it's I think it's like 24, 26. It's something odd. But if you look at the compensation plan, it breaks it down so perfectly for you to really see like, okay, this leg. And that's why as you're enrolling promoters, keep in mind, especially if you use waiting room, of where you're placing them, because you do not want to screw yourself and put a leg and make it red leg by moving volume. So just keep that in mind, especially as you roll into this last week, if you're helping people out and stuff like that. Household one leg cannot be above 6% of your volume. Exactly. And it's very easy to do, let me tell you. How often does it actually happen though? It varies month to month. I mean, a lot of times I have legs that are red leg at the very beginning of the month because there's just stronger legs. I have one leg that has been since day one of 2017 and there's like no active people underneath it. So I have to constantly even my legs out. And that's just something to keep in mind from starting out, and just as you grow your business and your team, is to constantly make sure, especially if you run 2 accounts like a lot of us do, keep in mind where your red legs are, who your top people are. You've got to keep in mind, because I have screwed myself more than one time placing. And
So the legs, sorry.
Yeah.
sorry.
So the legs are pretty much the promoters, and if they're bringing people in,
Right.
and how strong they're doing it.
Right. So I have, okay, so I'm one of my husband's account is my main account. And then I'm underneath him. So I am one of his strong legs. And then I have another person that is a strong leg right there. So I only enroll basically under those 2. And then obviously all that volume accumulates. But as those promoters that you enroll, same thing. If you have one promoter over here on this leg that is just like a high enroller, you know, they're just booming. And then the one over here, you will get red leg very easily. So that's why you want to keep in mind with customers and new people coming in of where you're placing people, or just who you like enroll in. If you just have your one account, disregard all of that I just said. But a lot of us do have more than one account. So it's something to keep in mind, because like I said, it happens pretty often, especially as your team grows. How do you even your legs out? You just say, like I said, one of them is just red leg by the 100. So your next customer order or promoter, put it under there, or auto ships help a lot. A lot of times it evens out on its own, honestly. If you're red leg, nothing like bad happens. You just aren't, I'm pretty sure, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if you know before I do, you don't get that, the uneven of the red leg doesn't count.
Towards your volume to
Right, it doesn't count towards your volume, and I don't think that you get paid on it either. Maybe you do, but I'm pretty sure you do not until it's completely evened out, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that part of it.
I don't think you do get paid on it, because then technically, because then it's not already counting for your volume. You know what I mean? So I don't think you're getting paid on that either.
Yeah, I'll ask. Yeah, that's a good one to look into, because I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of us can email support and just ask.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. That's so good. So Amanda, does that help?
Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, does that help? And keep in mind, you guys, what you enroll.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. What you enroll counts towards your volume too, right? So if you have a leg that's like 2,400 and you brought in 1,000 yourself, and you have another leg or you have a leg that's 2,800 and you brought in 1,000 yourself, and you have another leg there, your volume counts too. So keep in mind that your own personal volume helps as well. So when it, like Jen was saying, when it comes to like placement and all of that, reach out to your upline. And if they aren't, if they don't know too, like if you're going to ever use your waiting room, make sure that you talk with your upline and just get that, like, just to kind of know, right? So I hope that kind of helped. But yes, you need 2 enroller or 2 brand promoters and 4,000 in volume. And then just no more than the 2,400 coming from one leg to reach that 4. Is there any other questions? That's actually like a really good topic that maybe like one of we could look into, to like having maybe more of a training on hustling. I'm not sure if there is one on red leg. I feel like I've heard something, but that's something that we could always.
I don't think there is one on red leg. I know Lindsay has done one like on waiting room and like the whole operation of Cloud Office and how to find things and work things, but I don't think there's an actual training on red legs, just because it is confusing for new people coming in. Same with waiting room. Like a lot of people right now, if you're new, you're like, what the heck is a waiting room? And like she said, if you were new and you were curious about the waiting room, talk to your enroller or somebody who has been in and who understands it, because it's going to close at a certain time and it has to do with your promoter ID. It still jacks me up and screws me up every time. And B, it is a one-time thing. There is no, oops, I put it under the wrong person. Because it's done. There's no getting that person back once they're under whoever you put them under. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, especially come this Friday. Stop.
Right. No, you're okay. You're okay. So honestly, you guys, here's the thing on that. Like Jen was saying, just go chase that rank, right? Go do those things. Go run after that 4K, reach out to your enroller. If you have any questions, if you see like your tracker looking all weird and you're like, what's going on? Like she said, you'll be able to talk with your upline and all of that to be able to see it. But a lot of you on here are not going to experience that just maybe yet, but it is something good to know about. So like, don't get caught up. Like if you're like brand new, don't get caught up thinking you need to figure out waiting room and all that kind of stuff yet, like she said, but it's good to keep in the back of your mind so that you know. And I love the way that she explained it and everything like that too, of knowing, especially if you run 2 accounts. So if you run like your account and a spouse account or a boyfriend or whatever, girlfriend, whatever account, it's good to know so that you're not just putting everything under that second account. And then that one, your main account, you need to keep everything kind of balanced as much as you can. So thank you, Jen, for helping me with that. Cause that's out of my league too. I'm here for the planning part, y'all. Like she can help us with that part. So thank you.
I think we should all get with some of the other leaders and maybe we can like plan something. Or, maybe we can figure something out when it's like a Zoom or training in regards to red leg and waiting room. And that way it's here for future reference and stuff. Cause
I would love
obviously there's a few things that I need to message support about. Cause I would like to know if you get paid off red leg or not.
Yeah,
So.
I have no clue. That's so good. No, you guys see this. Yeah. This is why I love these kind of things and opening up because I learned something new too. So thank you for that. Because I didn't know.
I was gonna say, I've been here since 2017 and there's still a lot I do not know. I message support all the time. It's like Lindsay, she's BFFs with support. We're all BFFs with support. Yeah. If you don't know, message them, especially even if it's something like tedious and you're like, this is such a dumb question. There's a reason support is there. They get paid the big bucks for a reason. Okay. Like no question is too dumb, especially if you're like, because a lot of us, when you ask certain questions, I feel we all have different answers because we all just kind of like go with what works best for us. But I feel like the best way and the most honest answer is just going through support. And then you can just share your response with everybody. Absolutely. So that way, so I'll do that. I'll ask today and then, which they're closed today, but whenever they respond tomorrow, I'll share it in the chats or we can bring it up on the next Zoom or I don't know how that's going to work because half of us are going to be in Texas next weekend. So.
Yeah, I know you guys will be. So I'll still be here planning, but yeah. So so like she said, you guys, any questions that you do have, never hesitate to reach out to support. They are there. They're awesome. I know right now it's taking a little bit more of a lead time to get back to us, but give them grace, right? There's a lot going on that they are dealing with. And I think we also grew very quickly in this last year that, like there's adjustment periods for everything. So if you have any questions ever, has support, but a great training for anybody going 4K and stuff like that, like Jen had mentioned, there are trainings in Hustling that go over the compensation plan, that go over ranking, right? So that'll help you to understand how many promoters you need, that kind of stuff too. So that's something to tap into, or go read the PDF. Like Jen had mentioned, and I keep saying like Jen had mentioned, but like she said, our PDF breaks down our comp plan so well, you guys. I have never seen a PDF comp plan broken down as easily readable to anybody as ours is. So if you have any questions, how you get paid, how anything, go and read that PDF. It's in your resources, and that'll help you a ton too. So if there's no more questions, you guys, thank you so much for hopping on. Yes, I might not see some of you guys because some of you may be in Texas next week or whatever. Palooza is going on, you guys. So make sure to stay close to the team pages next weekend because I'm sure people will be dropping things constantly in the team pages, letting us know what's going on. I have a feeling they're going to drop something special, you guys. I don't think we're going to just come out of a bonus season into a Palooza without them giving us something bring new products, something. They're going to bring us something because that's how our CEOs work. So I'm excited to see what next weekend brings and the training, that knowledge and all of that that's going to come back to us. So you guys make sure to keep plugging in, and I will talk with you guys all next week. Bye.